What's going on, y'all? Today I wanted to talk about your morning routine, and specifically if you find yourself having a hard time getting out of bed and it takes you a while to really get up and get going. And part of that is obviously, the quality of your sleep and how much sleep you're getting and when you're going to bed. And if you look at one of my previous videos about your circadian rhythm, then if you're not in tune with that, if you're going to bed past 10:30, 11 p.m. and you're cutting into those specific windows, and therefore the quality of the sleep is not as good as it could be, then inevitably you're ultimately going to wake up feeling tired and like you need more sleep. And with a morning routine, and kind of what I'm going to get into here, is giving yourself, one, the space, and then two, the right tools to know that even if for some reason you don't have a great night of sleep, you're still able to get up and get going and get yourself in your groove and your flow for the day. Now, there's a lot of different ways to approach this, and I'll kind of share my way that has been beneficial for me. But ideally, if you can get yourself into an established practice, then you will start to align yourself through multiple days and weeks and ideally months, so that you're getting in touch, getting in tune with that circadian rhythm and optimizing your circadian rhythm, which, to give you a little definition, basically just the rhythm of the day and night, when the sun's rising, the sun's falling. So that's your circadian rhythm. But as you get more and more in touch with that, then it becomes easier and easier to go to sleep, to get good sleep, and then to wake up feeling rested and ready to go. And so it's nice to have these rituals and these practices and routines that can be consistent. And so for me, I usually, wake up around 5:30. And another little note here with that is that even getting up a little earlier, like especially in the winter months, I'm recording this and it's February and it's still, the days are slowly getting longer, but there's still a lot of darkness. And so at 5:30 in the morning, when it's still, dark outside, then naturally it might take a little longer to get moving just because the sun is still down. Versus, if I sleep until like 6:30 or 7 occasionally, then it's much easier to get up because the sun is already coming up. So that's just something to pay attention to. But with that, I like to wake up a little earlier because I like to get my day going, and I like the kind of quiet in the morning to have as my personal time. So I set my alarm. Now, there's different opinions about alarm clocks and things like that, but I've just found it helpful to set an alarm, and I set it across the room, so I physically have to get up and turn it off. And I've actually trained myself to just get right out of bed. It was something I consciously decided one day after many, many years of snoozing, and I decided that I was just wasting time snoozing. And so I made a decision that I was just going to get out of bed as soon as my alarm clock went off, because once you're out of bed, usually you're cool, at least for me. And so I set my alarm clock across the room on my phone, and then as soon as it goes off, I'll hop out of bed, turn it off, I go in the bathroom. I usually gotta rub my eyes out for a couple seconds there, get myself gathered, and then I'll hop right into a cold shower. And usually that in itself is like I'm up, I'm ready to go. And then I'll go and do my meditation, and then I'll kind of get prepped for the day. And really that's it. You can get super complicated with morning routines and journaling and meditation and doing yoga and breath work and all this type of stuff. But there's a balance there where obviously if you're spending 3 hours just to get started with your day, then how much are you taking away from your ability to actually be productive. So kind of the sweet spot is to do what you need to do that's going to be the most efficient and effective, while minimizing the time that it takes to actually get that done. And so for me, like I said, like doing a cold shower and then doing my meditation, usually I'm able to, I'm ready to go after that. And that's when I like to do kind of some studying, and I still like to have a little bit of a slower morning just in general, which is another thing too. If you're constantly waking up and you're finding like you're waiting to the last second and you're rushing to get out of the door to go to work, that's a habit in itself. And a lot of times when it comes to habits and rituals, it's if you're not choosing them consciously, then usually they're choosing you. And usually it's not what you would normally choose for yourself. So do yourself a favor and choose what you choose to do consciously. Create your morning routine consciously. And if that involves you choosing to wake up a little earlier so you're not having to rush so much, and that's a decision that needs to be made, and that goes along with the discussion of values and what's important to you. Like for me, I'd rather take my time and do what I want to do than try to, sleep as much as I can and then rush. And that's the other thing too. If you find yourself having to continue to snooze and sleep and it takes you a long time to get up, then that points to what we've already discussed with your circadian rhythm, which can have to do with your diet. And if you're constantly finding yourself needing to get some kind of stimulant just to get going too, that can also create a cycle. So with all of this is really the main point of setting a schedule for yourself, creating whatever habits or routine around your morning that you can be consistent with. And it doesn't have to be anything elaborate, but something that if I do this every single day, then it's going to set you up for success. And one of the reasons why I like the cold shower is that the first thing that I do in the morning is something that's uncomfortable. And for me, doing something uncomfortable literally as soon as I wake up sets me up for the rest of the day. Because if the hardest thing that you do in your life is something that you choose to do voluntarily, then everything else becomes easy by comparison. So that's one of the benefits of the cold shower. But that's just one approach. There's many approaches. You have to find out what's going to be ideal for you. But the biggest thing is to find that thing or those things and then to stick with it and to be consistent with it. Consistency is really the key here. And that's why you want to find the minimum effective dosage. Just like when it comes to training or meditation, even if you just meditate for 1 minute and are consistent with that, you'll get more results over the long run than if you're just sporadic, even if you're doing longer durations. Same thing is true with your morning routine. Find something that you can be non-negotiably consistent with, and then stick to it. And then watch what happens to the rest of your day. And if you can stick with that over a long period of time, you can get to the point where even when you're having a bad day, even when you're having an off day, you've got these practices in place to know that you can still find a way to get better in some way. And that's just by you showing up and doing what you're choosing to do and building habits that are facilitating your growth, even when outside circumstances that might be out of your control can present themselves and might get in the way from an ideal situation. So that's what I'd like to share on that. I hope you found this helpful, and I look forward to sharing more with you very soon. If you did find this helpful, subscribe, follow us for more. We're going to be pumping this stuff out like we already have been. So I'll talk to you very soon. Love you all.